There is no way that guy, the guy on the left in the blue, the American dude, wouldn't have just said "fut the fuck up" and walked past him. There's no chance the American guy would have bowed his head in shame. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back to another episode of Voltace 5. We are in episode 11, but I mean more specifically, we are in the second part of a two-parter. The first real two-parter so far. Of course, I've got a board here, but there isn't a lot of change. In fact, there's only one change that I've made to the board, which is that I made a direct red line from Megumi to Jangle because they fought directly. I was tempted to make a red line from General Oka to Jangle, but they barely actually fight. It's really Megumi that pisses Jangle off for having touched his horns. Also, kind of stabs him in the head, whereas General Oka just gets away from him. That's about it. So I have connected them directly to represent that they have an animosity that could develop into something else later in the show. I think I always express this in my Power Rangers parlance, the same way that, Tommy and... Not Tommy, God, Jason. Jason had an animosity with Goldar in Power Rangers, at least during Season 1. This feels like that. I don't have anything to reference you Sentai fans, because I haven't watched any of that. So, yeah. Anyway, to the notes. I've got a bunch of notes, so... The amount of stuff that appears to be handled off-screen is slightly of some concern, as I'm starting to feel that things I think should be established first have yet to be. For example, the Boasnian invasion force's slaves. We've seen them twice now, but they've never established where they came from or how many are present. My concern about it only comes from the original question I had about the first episode, which was how did the Voltace 5 repel the invasion force that was winning across the globe when it only defeated a couple of ships and one beast machine? The reports we got of the invasion were only of destruction and death. There's never been reports of missing persons. I'd like to think that if they had answered that initial question, better anyway, I wouldn't be questioning this now. For example, if the Voltace 5 hadn't been repelled the invasion, but was in a constant fight to push them back across the globe, like a game of XCOM, say, and that was happening off-screen between episodes as well, then the slaves could just be a matter of people under oppression from somewhere that the Voltace 5 hadn't saved yet. All the same concerns go for their resources like the trucks or where the beast machine parts come from, right up to where their planetary observation grid is if no one on the Earth Defense Force mentioned satellites or anything. There's just this whole infrastructure thing at play that doesn't go explained, and I understand that's probably due to the fact that this is a super robot show bordering on real robot, or not bordering on real robot, bordering on a more traditional story time. Sorry, I'm just skipping over my words now. It borders on a more traditional storytelling trope used by real robot genre. That it makes me expect everything that I would get from the real robot genre, which is to explain everything first. So that's just throwing me off constantly. How was Megumi 52 seconds late? Hiyoshi was 5 steps ahead of her in the hallway to the control room, and he wasn't late. Sorry, when I was rewatching the episode, the professor, she gets into the room, everybody's sitting down, and he's like, "You're 52 seconds late." Except that we just saw her leaving her room 5 steps behind Hiyoshi. So either Hiyoshi was like 50 seconds late himself and didn't get any flack, or she fell a whole minute behind. How much about the Voltes 5 crew do the Boaznians know? They evidently know that General Oka has a daughter, for them to launch the ploy that Megumi might be sending him a gift via the truck convoy. I would have guessed that if they know anything about the crew, it would have been Kenichi, Hiyoshi, and Daijiro, sorry. Only evidenced by the fact that their father went to the Boaznian homeworld. I've commented a couple of times on the reptilians and the ranks of the Boaznians, as it connects to those first couple of episodes where Heinel's eyes do weird things, and I think I compared it to the V saga. If you're not aware, it's where aliens come to Earth and they look human, but in reality they're reptiles in disguise. That maybe that was going on, but it also occurs to me to mention now that the Bosnians are conquerors, so it's entirely possible that the reptile troops are just a race that they captured that became subservient to them enough to form their armies. I just want to put that out there as a thing I recognize as being possible, but have not said up until this point. No real comment about this one. I just wanted it somewhere in my notes about how entertaining it is that General Oka is also a ninja. I guess I could have questioned why Megumi was a ninja at the beginning, and I never did. I guess coming from a long line of ninjas is just as good an explanation as any other one. So the map that Big Falcon shows to express where the bombardment is coming from seems to indicate that Earth Defense Force HQ is located somewhere around the northwest side of Sagami Bay, Japan, obviously. I'd guess Hakone. I'm guessing that's how you say that. Hakone. I think it's a Hakone. Sounds better. Just based on basically where the arrow is coming from. It's just a guess. Likewise, it would seem that Big Falcon is somewhere on the east coast of Kyushu. Kyushu. Sorry again. I'm bad with Japanese words. Uh, but I can only guess that it is on the east coast of Kyushu because the arrows just generally go around the island and don't actually go anywhere into it, so... Megumi going to Earth Federation HQ to stop the rocket assault on Big Falcon was arguably a correct call. General Oka later accuses her of leaving the front line, but Earth Federation HQ is a front line. It is currently assaulting Big Falcon and is not under any sort of friendly control. Stopping the wave of rocket assaults would allow the Voltes 5 team to focus on eliminating this week's beast monster. So someone should have gone, and why not Megumi? She's a ninja, and that's a useful skill for infiltration. In my opinion, General Oka has nothing to say in this matter. He and his men failed to secure the base from attack, and needed to be rescued. If not for Megumi's intervention, Big Falcon would have still been under attack. To me, it seemed like General Oka slapping his daughter as a matter of hurt pride, which feels like a shit reason to employ that sort of punishment. The complaint against Megumi going to Earth Forces HQ has me questioning something else that I brought up in earlier episodes. When I thought all the team members had to be present at the base all the time in order to launch. They were able to send Ippei's machine to him without anybody in the cockpit. That seems to imply that there is some sort of remote control ability. I know that a pilot needs to be present to press the button and shout, "Let's vault in," but why? In case someone stole all 5 vault machines and wanted to form the Voltes 5? It really only seems to limit our characters. If we can remote control the machines already, then install some sort of remote for the fusion thing as well. We already know that Kenichi controls the entirety of the Voltes 5 merged form. Megumi is essentially not needed there, and could be helping on the ground where her skills are useful. Hamaguchi really needs to step up here, as it's clear the team has a number of skills that would make them more valuable apart than always being forced together by the same problem. I know I've already covered the slap itself, but General Oka's sentiment of "we all have jobs to do, if I die here then so be it" is flawed from the aspect of if he falls and dies, then the Bosnians have full access to the Earth Force's HQ and the entire missile defense force that they are currently using to keep Big Falcon locked down. If someone didn't come to assist, he'd likely wind up either captured or dead. Either way, the Bosnians get a massive resource in either information or the weaponry of the HQ on their side. Earth Defense HQ cannot fall to the Bosnians. Even if Megumi was motivated by her dad being there, it was the right call to make to ensure that the base didn't fall. Another thing that is kind of mind-boggling is how the Bosnians don't know about super electromagnetism by default. They are, after all, an empire that conquers galaxies and flew over 14,000 light years inside a single lifespan to get here. That requires some amazing levels of science and technology. Now, I'm not saying that electromagnetism can't have some complicated applications that could be beyond them. In many sci-fi series, electromagnetism is what makes the invisible shields that go around starships, which isn't present in this show, so I'm just saying there's applications that aren't known by every side. But this legit just seems like regular, everyday magnetism created by electricity. It should be so far beneath them that it's confusing that it's some sort of technological secret. I have no idea who Astoria is or why they need to stop their experiments. Most of the places named Astoria in the real world seem to be located in the United States. I guess that makes sense, since the next people to complain are the Incans, which would be the South Americans. Not for nothing, but making hydrogen bombs would be a concern, especially if your neighbor was doing it. Though we are in the middle of a massive space invasion, so it could still be useful. And I guess, just from my notes, Somalia is also represented here. I honestly don't know why they don't just form the Voltace 5 from the get-go every time. The Voltace machines themselves can barely handle the saucers on their own, let alone any of the beast machines. And in that case, Kenichi is the only one that's needed, since he controls the entire Voltace 5 by himself. The others could be sent in on specific ground missions as necessary, like Megumi just did. Last note here. Also of note, we got shown the bad guys just watching the Voltace 5 transform, meaning that all those scenes we watch it doing that is in real time. So there is all the chance in the world to attack it mid-transformation. More than that, though, if Zool really did figure out the super electromagnetism, then at some point in the future I'd expect him to develop an explosive based on it. Specifically, they just start transforming with that force that pulls each machine together, then just throw some bombs at them with that same electromagnetism and let them get sucked into the joints while it's merging together, would just blow it up completely. And again, to my point about could just attack them while they're transforming, can you imagine if halfway through the transformation process they just flew in and picked off one of the machines? Now the Voltace 5 is running around, it doesn't have feet, because like Megumi's Voltace machine got picked off. And I know the argument is that the electromagnetic force is so strong it pulls them together outside of something else. I think they got out through one of the transformations in a previous episode that way. We go through everything else, every other trick in the book, right? Oh, this beast machine is so fast you can't hit it. Well, what about a beast machine that's so strong the electromagnetic force can't pull it away from the grip? It just would be funny to me, I think, to see the Voltace 5 missing a limb because one of the machines is being held onto. Maybe not for the people who are heavily invested in the show, though. I get that. That said, though, that is all of my notes from the last 2 episodes. So I said we go ahead and hop on in and see what's in store for us on the well, I don't know if this is the end of a two-parter or the beginning of a storyline. Let's see. We'll just find out. Let's see.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
And I highly suspect, given the year that this show came out and all the shows around it, that there is not going to be like a second opening for Voltes 5. That this is probably the one and done for Voltes 5 openings. Which is fair enough. It's not a bad opening. Like, despite the fact that this... Well, actually, this comes out before Gundam, in fact. I wasn't about to compare it to Gundam, in fact. I was about to compare it to Macross. I would say if you, like, upped the amount of detail, like, on the Voltes 5 and put in more background elements, this opening could be on par with, like, Macross opening, which is, like, 10 years ahead of this. Although the taste in music is very dependent on what you believe in, right? Different eras, different music.
敵ボアザン星人はついに超電磁を打ち破る装置を開発した。重視生ずんごの額につけられた装置から発射された。
The means for causing it not to vault together was a giant cannon, go figure.
超電磁が破られた。そんな。
今こそ地球の全人類が一致協力してボアザン星人と戦う時が来たのだ。俺たちが倒されようが全人類が力を合わせれば、いや合わせなければならんのだ。頼む長官、世界防衛機構を一刻も早く発足させてくれ。
These episodes out of order? We already have an Earth Defense's HQ. It was attacked last episode, 2 episodes ago.
頼むぞ。
超電磁が破られた。蘇るボルテス5。
I don't know, that felt like a comment that was made out of order. Like, I could see this being like episode 2. We need to form an Earth Defense. No, because there was an Earth Defense HQ in episode 1.
勝ち目はねえな。何を言ってるんだ。俺を一人になってもやるぞ。敵はファルコへ逃げ込んで持ってくるんだ。俺たちはボアザン星人と戦うのが任務だぜ。地球を絶対守らなくちゃならないんだ。
Well, I mean, you could retreat somewhere that's not the base. Like, fly up high into the atmosphere.
やだ。奴を倒すんだ。みんなの命を預かったぜ。いいか。全員であの超電磁発生装置を狙って一斉攻撃する。
Yeah, but your weapons barely affect any beast monster. Legitimately, they've barely handled saucers. Oh shit. Almost like it melted his cockpit. Fucking autopilot. What did I say? Now just do that, but to the vault-in thing, too. Huh, surprisingly, they did not follow you back to the base and kill you all, like Kenichi thought was going to happen.
命に別状はない。博士、ボルテスチームは大丈夫です。かなりの火傷ですが。
それはよかった。いいか、メカは急いで修理しろ。 それから5人はベッドに縛り付けておけ。
Strap them to their beds. They're too hard for a fight. I guess it took this thing forever to get back to Big Falcon, even though it was chasing those things down a moment ago. Maybe use the giant beam weapon that takes out literally everything. I imagine the ninja probably has a way to get out of this.
ファルコンを叩き潰すのだ。よくも今まで世に歯向かったな、ボルテス5。それももうしばらくの間だ。ボルテスさえ片付ければ、地球の人間どもは世に白旗を。
Yeah, maybe pull out the giant skull thing with 2 giant cannons on his face. Or your army of saucers.
私はあいつらが血を吐き倒れるのを見るのが一番の楽しみでしてな。ズールの楽しみを取り上げるのも気の毒というもの。
Why give Zool any tasks? He was literally going to betray you.
世は奴らの最後をゆっくりと見物する。
Don't give Zool any trust. He literally was trying to kill you a couple episodes back.
いいか、勇士の攻撃を受ける前に帰国するんだ。お待ちください。なぜ我々を引き止める？どけ。一刻も早く祖国を防衛するのだ。あなた方にはあれが見えるのか？彼らはバルコンに救援に向かう防衛軍の兵士だ。生きて帰れないかもしれない。しかし彼らは戦いに行く。なぜだと思いますか？それは地球を守りたいからだ。
I'm sorry,
日本だけ
but
ではない。地球を守らなければならないと思うからこそ死を覚悟してバルコン救援に向かったのです。あなた方は恥ずかしくないのか？たとえボルテスが敗れようが、我々にはもっと大
I'm
きな
pausing
力が
for
いる。
the speech.
もっと強い力がある。それは全世界の人類が力を合わせてボアザン星人と戦うことだ。一国一国がバラバラに戦ってどうなる？全人類が結束しなければならない。みんなが団結して彼らを倒さなければならない。地球は一体誰のものなんだ？考えてください、皆さん。私は皆さんに提案する。直ちに
Okay.
第二次
It was a good speech. That's why I was pausing to my commentary to let him get it out, because I know people would be pissed if I talked over it. There is no way that guy, the guy on the left in the blue, the American dude, wouldn't have just said "fuck the fuck up" and walked past him. There's no chance the American guy would have bowed his head in shame. It's Gamera. Also, not for nothing, but getting back to America is the best way to coordinate the counterattack. Thank God everyone in the world uses the same model of aircraft. Except, don't you not remember like 10 episodes ago when all of the militaries of the world got devastated? You should have literally less stuff to fight back with. Yeah, also not for nothing, but literally all your weapons are useless against Blasgian attackers.
私はこの人たちを見下ろしにはできん。それが私の務めだ。
Again, even the Voltes 5 machines are barely effective against the saucers.
アイデル様、ゆっくりと
Normal jets, no chance.
ご覧ください。もうすぐですぞ。5匹の首が見られるのも。
I mean, yeah, use the giant beam cannon. You could have, like, won already. Yeah, fucking ignore them. They can't hurt you.
ヒロー、メット国の戦闘機だぞ。あれはヒストリア国の戦闘機だ。
Okay, story is green and red. Don't know what that gives me any actually more information.
ありがとう。ありがとう。この勇敢な人たちを私は死なせない。死なせてはならんのだ。
I don't know how. Once again, they destroyed most of the world's military in the first episode. Mostly off screen.
何スカイルークの破壊光線で死滅してやります。
Oh, finally, the skull ship uses a weapon.
どうしてもあれを使わなければいけないのか。初めから危険だと分かっているものを使うわけには。
Quit stalling, Hamaguchi. Do something.
しかし今となってはあれを使うしかない。ウルトラマウコン。あ、博士。
The company's got a new toy it needs to sell.
未完成だが、ウルトラマウコンを使用するんだ。この未完成のウルトラマウコンを使えば、ボルテスチームは死ぬかもしれない。だが、
I'm getting flashbacks to when Bulma had to shoot Vegeta with a satellite dish to make him power up into a new Super Saiyan form.
こんな時に俺たちが戦えないなんて。ボルテス5に合体していて。こんなところで俺は死にたくない。死ぬなら敵の奴らと。くそー。
Legit, I thought Megumi was gonna pull out like a blade and cut through her bonds or something. They didn't even show Megumi.
このベルトを外してくれ。
アンさん、おいども頼む。
お兄ちゃん、僕もねえ。
ケイチ、
Is she not here?
ケイチ。
They showed everybody but her.
汚ねえぞ。俺たちも連れてってくれ。おい、待てよ、あんた。
すまない。死ぬのは俺一人でたくさんだ。
And back to what I was saying before, Kenichi runs the whole thing.
頼むで大二郎。少しばかり翼をやられているが大丈夫だ。発進口も使えそうだしな。なんだ。水くせえぜケンイチ。俺たちは地獄の底まで付き合う仲間じゃねえか。
I guess they just didn't want to animate Megumi tied up in a bed. I guess maybe that was some sort of TV standard that they didn't want to put up.
一人でどうやって戦うつもりなの？
クルーザーだけについている超電磁発生装置で超電磁を重心ぶつけてやるんだ。嘘つけ。そんなことができるくらいならとっくにやってるはずだ。お前の心は分かってるんだ。命を捨てるけろ。うるさい。そこをどけ。
There's also the element that it has literally not used that weapon ever again.
俺たちは合体不可能なんだよ。 もうボルテス5はないんだよ。だから俺たちは戦えないんだよ。それが辛いんだ。
ケンイチ、私だって同じよ。僕だって。
I do like the sad version of the theme song.
よろしい、お前たちに死んでもらおう。ウルトラマグコンを使用する。
ウルトラマグコン？
未完成の超電磁エネルギー発生装置だ。
これがあれば合体できるんですか？
理論的にはな。ゴー博士が考えられた理論をわしが実行に移したんだ。しかしまだこのままでは人体に害が及ぶ恐れがあって使えなかったの。
Why would he make this though?
言っている場合ではない。
Like it has to have some alternative use.
分かったぜ。
Because otherwise the idea is that he made this thing in case they ever defeated electromagnetism.
頼んだぞ、ボルテスチーム。
よし、行くぞ。
I would say it just occurred to me. There's only like 9 minutes left in the episode, so say about 6 probably for the action. Cutting it real close to the end of the episode if they're gonna win the day and save the Earth. Forgetting for the moment, we have 2 beast machines for them to fight as well. Okay, I guess there was no secondary use, there's only one of these things.
成功してくれ。いよいよ勝負だ。いいな、失敗は許されん。今だ。
So it's just like a counter force to the first counter force. I don't see if I formed a giant magnetic bubble.
そうか、ウルトラマグコンの超電磁磁気空洞では操作が全て逆なのか。合体レバーを逆に戻すんだ。了解。
Well, I guess it worked, even though it hasn't happened yet, because the victory music's playing. Again, remember that beam on its head was a super weapon, as they showed when it fired on the floating skull base castle thing on the top anyway. So it could have been firing that thing off all the time. Big Falcon should have already been destroyed. I know it seems weird that it seems like I'm rooting against the Voltes 5 team. But that's only from the element of it seems like the Voltes 5 team is designed to win, right? So, in that aspect, I always feel bad for the villains who have literally no chance. So I try to figure out things for them where they should have been able to win. Like, where did they fail? Again, there are 2 beast machines out there. You don't have time to do tops, man. So it literally is Gamera. I called that one from the beginning. Hey, that's how a drill works. Makes no sense out of context, what I say sometimes. Keeping in mind that they just got over minor burns. Oh, guess the one they defeated where they didn't need the Sword of Heaven. It's also funny that the one they defeated without the Sword of Heaven is the one that's been the main villain the whole time. So I was getting a little laugh out of that because when the sword was coming down, you saw its eyes roll back like, "Oh no!" I mean, maybe the Bosnians should have used their giant flying saucer fleet they brought with them. Maybe they could have won the day.
浜口博士の心は重かった。
超電磁をパワーアップしなければ。それには。
Honestly, I don't think that's the way to go. Maybe it's once again, my background of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but one from an out of universe sales aspect, but 2 also from an in-universe strategy aspect. I feel like the thing to do would be more machines. Build another Big Falcon somewhere else, and build 5 more Voltace machines that look entirely different, by the way, so that you can sell more toys. Because the Bosnians can barely defeat one Voltace machine. I mean, one Voltace 5 formed machine. Can you imagine if Earth had 2? They'd be fucked. They'd have to give up the invasion completely. Because apparently 1 stopped the entire invasion completely. Still unexplained to my satisfaction. Okay.
浜口博士が知った裏切り者の名は次回ボルテス5ボルテス起死回生にご期待ください
Well, it's a dragon crab monster. Sorry, I'm just laughing because it's Hamaguchi is kicking ass now. So it is the General Oka episode where they try and capture General Oka, except now it's General Oka and Hamaguchi. And I don't know what the plan is, because either they've lured them out and tricked them to a place, or I can't be the case, because why would they, like, break into their own building? I guess Hamaguchi is going to try and upgrade the systems of the Voltes 5, like he just said this episode. And I guess Heinl gets a whiff of that and tries to stop it. Though I don't know why he would show up himself. It would be great to see him get into a sword fight, though. All the times he's like, with the sword. But, I don't know. Still, I do appreciate seeing them get into ground combat more. Because again, this is a conceit that you kind of just have to deal with shows like this. And I'm not, like, dissing the show for it. It is how animation is, right? All the Voltes 5 fight scenes are kind of the same. You know, let's vault in, minute and a half of vaulting in. We do a couple of the weapons that we have. Usually the top comes out, we get the whip chains, then it's the Heaven Sword. We call it a day, we won. The ground combat stuff we barely get. That's very interesting to see, because then it also shows off the combat abilities of the Voltes team. And episode 1 showed us that they all have very different ground level combat abilities. So, Megumi being a ninja, I anticipate to be completely different from whatever shark fighting skills Hiyoshi has, right? Or, the gunplay of Kenichi. So it's interesting to see those. Plus, I think the characters are more at risk when they're on the ground, which is more interesting to see as well. Otherwise, though, I think this episode is kind of I mean, no offense. I know people are gonna hate me if I say what I'm thinking, but I think I'm probably gonna say what I'm thinking anyway. Because people already hate me for what I think. Who cares? It's a bit of faff. It's a bit of faff, this episode. The Japanese general rushes up in front of a bunch of diplomats from other countries across the world and tells them down, or breaks them down, for how shameful they are to try and rush back to their own countries. Do you think that would possibly work in real life? You know how many people would be shamed by what they were doing? Hell, half of them would be like, can't understand you, no translator, walk past. Nobody would give a shit. It is idealism and self-importance of the highest caliber to think anybody would stop in front of General Oka to hear his speech. And yes, I am a fan of Independence Day, where the American president gives a speech about this is our Independence Day and fights the aliens. I'm not above irony. I'm just saying that at least when they do it in Independence Day, it's an American president speaking to American pilots. He's not like, you people from around the world, listen to what I'm saying. You be ashamed of yourself. Wouldn't fly. It just would not fly. Other than that, again, also the element of we know that the world's military got taken down in like less than a day. They went like, not Invasion Earth. I can't remember the name of that really bad movie where they say that the entirety of the Earth military falls to the invading aliens in like 1 hour. But I mean, that's essentially what happened in episode 1. The Bosnians essentially took over the Earth in like an hour. And then the Voltes 5 defeated that somehow. I don't know. It's really weird. So I don't see how a bunch of jets from across the planet could do anything. Again, though, the fact is that we haven't seen any of the Bosnian saucer ships anywhere since the initial invasion. And really, those are the ones that took out most everything. So I guess Heinl being waylaid by having a giant skull ship and that's it. Maybe that's the downfall. The Bosnian invasion fleet left Earth after the Voltes 5 showed up and just went on to the next invasion target. And that's what's taking the Earth invasion so long. It's like one ship and a beast machine every now and then. Anyway, I think that's enough for this episode. If there's any further thoughts, of course, episode after next we'll have the notes, so keep on the lookout for that. Otherwise, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?